Fifth grade lesson 8.3 is connecting fractions to division and how they are related to one another. Let's get started. Our essential question is, how does a fraction represent division? A fraction can be written as a division problem. We have 3 divided by 4, or 3 over 4, 3/4. That is 3 divided by 4. You've probably seen me do this in the past where I say a fraction is simply, let me get you a better color. A fraction is simply a number over a number, also known as a division problem. So 3/4 is the same as 3 divided by 4, 3 divided by 4. 12 halves is the same as 12 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2, and this lesson has just helped to make that connection. You can start seeing fractions as simply a division problem. Let's unlock the problem. There are 3 students in a crafts class and 2 sheets of construction paper for them to share equally. Share equally, key word, right? You guys are used to that now. Share equally means I probably got some division going on. What part of the construction paper will each student get? So we have 3 students. I will circle that. And we have 2 sheets of paper. Oh, I just noticed we're supposed to circle one and underline the other. The dividend is what's being shared, what's being split apart, and that is the 2 sheets of paper. So I'm gonna highlight that. 2 is what's being shared. And into how many pieces is that being shared? It's being shared amongst the 3 students. So we have 2 as a dividend being split up by the divisor 3. 2 is being divided by 3, which also can be written is 2 divided by 3. That's okay too. It's the same thing. We'll draw lines to divide each piece of paper into 3 equal pieces because each person is getting a third. 1 for you, 1 for you, and 1 for you, and 1 for you. Or 1 for you and 1 for somebody else, I guess. So 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for our neighbor. 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for our neighbor. That's the 3 students. Okay, each student's share of 1 sheet of construction paper is, so we get, I'll say that I'm red. I get this one, and you get blue, this one, and our neighbor gets this one and this one. So each student's share of 1 sheet of construction paper is 1 out of the 3, right? 1/3. 1 out of 3 out of 1 construction paper. All right, so now let's count the number of thirds each student will get. And we know it's 1/3 off of 1 construction paper, right? Since there are 2 sheets of construction paper, each student will get 2 of the 1/3. So 1/3 from this one and 1/3 from that one. So 2 of the 1/3, which we can be writing of the means multiply when we're talking about word problems. We can write that as 2 times 1/3. And now let's do step 3. It's complete the number sentence. This is taking us back to here. 2 divided by 3 can be written as a fraction. 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by 3. And now we're going to check our answer. What we're saying here is if each person gets 2/3 of the paper, and there are 3 people, 2/3 and 3 people, then 2/3 times 3 should equal to the 2 pages that we have. So let's do that calculation. I'll do it off to the side here though, right here. 2/3 times, let's change that to a fraction, that 3 to a fraction by putting a 1 under it. I could either cross reduce or simply multiply straight across. Either way works. 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3. And to convert this, I do 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And this checks out. This 2/3 times 3 equals 2. So we can work it backwards, remember, because division is the inverse of multiplication. So working it backwards should give us the same result. Okay, keeping that in mind, let's go on to the example. 4 friends, I'm going to circle that. 4 friends share 6 sheets of poster board equally. How many sheets of poster board does each friend get? What's being shared? What's being split apart equally? The 6 sheets, so that's my dividend. That's what I start with here. And how many pieces is it being split into? Amongst 4 friends. So we're doing 6 divided by 4. We're going to draw lines to divide each of the 6 sheets into fourths, and each friend's share of one sheet is going to be what? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's divide this into fourths. And so each person gets 1/4 of one sheet. So one person gets the green, one person gets red, one person is represented by blue, and one person is represented by yellow. So if we divided all the sheets into fourths, each friend's share of one sheet is 1 out of the 4 pieces. That's what they're after here, 1/4 of one sheet of paper. So now we can count the number of fourths each friend gets. Since there are 6 sheets of poster board, each friend will get 6 of the fourths, because there's 6 sheets of paper, right? So 6 of the fourths, or 1/4, 6 of the 1/4, right? They get 1/4 from there, and then another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. So they get 6 of the 1/4 pieces. 6 divided by 4 is 6/4. Remember, we just kind of convert that in there to do the division. 6 divided by 4 can be written this way. This is an improper fraction, though, so to change that to a mixed number, we will do 6 divided by 4. It goes in once. We get 2 out of 4 left over. 2 out of 4, 2 is exactly half of 4, so that is half. If you didn't recognize that, 2 is a multiple of 2 and 4 is a multiple of 2, so if I divide both of these by 2, then I will have that simplified or reduced into its lowest form. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so we get 1 and 1/2. So what will happen, since there's 6 sheets of paper and everybody's getting 1/4 of it, every person is going to get 1 and 1/2 whole pieces of paper. Check our answer of the inverse going backwards. So we should have 6/4 equals 4 divided by 6. Now we should do 6/4 times 4. So if everybody's getting 1.5 pages and 4 people are sharing it, then if we calculate that, we should get that there's 6 pieces, because it's the inverse, right? So we're doing 6/4. I'm going to put it back to 6/4 again because I'll be calculating with it. And in order to calculate multiplication, I need it as a fraction, not a mixed number. 6/4 times 4 better equal 6. Let's hope so. Let's do that calculation. I have 6/4 times 4. I'm going to make that a fraction. I can either do that cross reduction here or multiply straight across. Either way will work. I'm going to cross reduce to keep that number small because 4 divides into 4 once. Now I'll multiply across. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 over 1 is the same as 6. And ta-da, yes, that checks out. So each friend is going to get 1.5 sheets of poster board. And if we wanted to divide 6 divided by 4, 6 pieces of paper shared amongst 4 people, and we just passed them out so your brain can see it, let's say we didn't chop them all up. Let's say we just said, okay, there's 1 for you, 1 for her, 1 for him, and 1 for me. Then, so each person got 1, right? Then we'd say, we need to share these ones in amongst 4 people. So let's cut this one in half and this one in half. And so you'll get half, he'll get half, she'll get half, and I'll get half. And so there's your visual for how that works. But this lesson is mostly just about getting you comfortable with the fact that this division problem can also be written as a fraction and handled as a fraction, and it gives you another tool for being able to solve different problems. Let's look at the try this. Ms. Reese has a piece of string that is 125 inches long. For science experiment, she divides the string equally among 8 groups of students. How much string will each group get? You can represent the problem as a division equation or a fraction. So we have this ribbon or string, 125 inches. That's what's being shared equally. So that would be 125 that's being shared equally. Into how many pieces? That's my dividend. Into how many pieces is it being shared amongst 8 students? That's my divisor. You can represent the problem as a division equation or a fraction. It can be represented like this, which we did here, or like this, right? 125 divided by 8 as a mixed number in simplest form. So now we have this 125 divided by 8, or this 125 divided by 8, we're going to get the same thing. These are just, your brain just needs to adapt to the fact that these mean exactly the same thing. That's all we're aiming for here. And you would do the same thing here. If I'm doing 125 divided by 8, I would do this, 125 divided by 8, right? If I'm doing 125 divided by 8, and I want to turn it into a mixed number, like we did over, where did we do that? Right here, I would do this. It's the same. It's the exact same thing. So let's do the division then. 8 times what number gets me close to 1 without going over? Nothing. So then let's move over. 8 times what number gets me close to 12 without going over? 8 times 1 does that. And I have 4 left over, which is smaller than my divisor. That's good. 8 times what number gets me close to 45 without going over? 8 times 5 gets me 40. This is where knowing my multiplication facts is super helpful. 5 is my remainder out of the 8 that I've been dividing, and I get 15 and 5/8 either way because they're the same thing. This is the same as that. So each group will get 15 and 5/8 inches of string. Explain why 125 divided by 8 gives the same result as 125 divided by 8. They're both a division problem. I'm not sure how to explain that. They are both a division problem. As you get further along, that becomes, I think, even harder to explain because your brain just adapts to the fact that that's the same thing. So in this lesson, we're training our brain to do that, but eventually your brain just sees it as exactly the same thing really quickly. Okay, we'll do the share and show, and then you'll be on your way to do Think Central. 6 friends share 4 small pizzas equally. What's being shared? Always ask yourself what's being shared. It's the pizzas that are being shared. So 4 pizzas are being shared. Into how many pieces are they being shared? They're being shared amongst 6 friends. That's the part 2, the translation. I know sometimes we'll see people will see the 6 first, then the 4, and there'll be a 6 divided by 4. We have to ask ourselves, because division matters what order it's in. It's not commutative like multiplication. It doesn't matter what order. It's picky. So we have to put first the number that's being shared, and then how many pieces is it shared into. So we have 4 pizzas that's being shared amongst 6 friends. Here they're asking us to model it, but we can write that, of course, as 4 divided by 6. Those are the same thing. That's really what we're after, trying to train your brain to see that. I will divide these into 6 pieces. We have 2, 4, 6, and I'll do that on all of them. And everybody is getting 1/6 of each one. So we have 4 times 1/6, which is 4/6 of the pizza. And that's where we ended up at. They're just trying to get your brain to see, how did I go from that to that? Your brain will adapt to the fact that it's the same thing. 4 brothers share 5 packs of stickers equally. What's being shared? The stickers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 packs of stickers. Into how many pieces is that being shared? By 4 people. So it's 5 packs of stickers being split equally amongst 4 brothers. So they're going to share them in 4s. And that becomes, everybody gets 1/4 of 1, but there's 5 of them to share. And when you multiply, 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 4 is 4, I get 5/4. And again, we're just trying to see that 5 divided by 4 is the same as 5/4. Now, of course, that's an improper fraction, and a fraction more than 1 with that upside down snowman here, this number bigger than that one. We should be in the habit of converting those back into a mixed number, so let's do that real quickly. 5 divided by 4, 4 goes into 5 once, with 1 out of the 4 left over. So this is the same as 1 1/4. Each person is getting 1 1/4 out of that. Let's look at the next one. You can pause this one and try it without me and then play it if you feel like it. 12 friends share 3 melons equally. What fraction of a melon does each friend get? What's being shared? The 3 melons. Into how many people are sharing that? 12 of them. So we're doing 3 divided equally into 12 pieces. 3 divided by 12. That is, everybody's getting 1/12 of one of them, and there's 3 of them to share. So each friend's share is 3/12 of a melon. If we can simplify a fraction, we should do that. This is a multiple of 3, and this is also a multiple of 3. So if I divide 3 out of them, that would simplify it or reduce it down. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Each of them is getting 1/4 of a whole melon. Hopefully this is making sense okay. 3 students share 8 blocks of clay equally. How much clay does each student get? What's being shared? 8 blocks of clay. Into how many pieces is that being shared? 3 people. So we have 8 that's being divided into 3 equal pieces. So of that, of one of them, everybody's getting a third because there's 3 people sharing it. There's 8 of them though, so there we go. That is 8/3. That is an improper fraction, or a fraction greater than 1, or an upside down snowman with a number bigger than that. So I'll convert that to a mixed number by doing 8 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 twice, with 2 out of 3 left over. Hopefully you're seeing that you're getting pretty fast at that conversion. That happens. You just get really fast at it, and then it's not so bothersome to do it because it happens fast. Each of them is getting 2 2/3 blocks of clay. Is our final answer. I hope I made that make sense well enough, and that you will find great success on Think Central. Let me know if you need help.